You ever have that gut feeling? That cold little whisper in your spine that something's off, even when everything looks fine on the surface? Yeah, that was me on the Tuesday my life got quietly, perfectly detonated. It started with a sock. Just a single, balled-up sock, the wrong shade of gray, peeking out from under the couch. Now, before you roll your eyes, yes, I know how that sounds. But I live alone with my wife. No kids, no visitors, no house guests. I'm a man of boring habits and neatly folded laundry. So a strange sock? That was a signal. Hey, babe, I called out from the living room, holding up the thing like it was radioactive. This yours? There was a pause in the kitchen. Just a second too long. Then her voice. Huh? Oh yeah. Must have fallen when I was folding. Her voice was just a little too casual. I could hear the clink of her wine glass as she turned away. But here's the thing. She doesn't fold in the living room. She folds in the laundry room. She doesn't drink on weekdays. And she never, ever, buys socks that aren't white or black. So right then, something clicked. And I didn't say another word. That was the moment I stopped asking questions. Not because I didn't want answers, but because I already knew the story she was going to tell me wouldn't be the truth. Instead, I started listening, watching, cataloging, like a man building a case, not a home. The thing about betrayal is, it doesn't scream. It drips. One day you're laughing at the dinner table, the next you're counting wine glasses in the sink and realizing there's lipstick on one. And she doesn't wear lipstick anymore. I played it cool. I played it so cool, I had her thinking she was winning. There was the late-night texting she said was her cousin venting. I checked the cousin's Instagram. She was in Hawaii with no Wi-Fi. There were the extra hours at work that somehow never reflected on her timesheet. The one she used to leave open on her laptop like a proud little overachiever. Suddenly, password locked. And then there was the moment I knew. Knew. The night her phone buzzed at 3:12 a.m. while she was in the shower. A message popped up on the screen, no name, just, "You taste like trouble." Now, I don't consider myself a poet, but that was either a country song lyric or a red-handed confession. Either way, it wasn't for me. So I smiled. I kissed her goodbye every morning. I made her favorite dinners. I complimented her hair. I waited. And while she thought I was burying my head in the sand, I was building something. Something quiet. Something strategic. Let her keep playing chess. I was already flipping the board under the table. Cheating is loud. Not in volume. No, that would be too easy. It's loud in rhythm. In patterns. In shifts. And my wife, Miranda, she was a creature of habit until she wasn't. Her first mistake? She got sloppy. It was the Sunday she told me she was going to visit her sister in Cedar Falls. Her suitcase was packed with athletic wear, which was funny because she hadn't seen the inside of a gym since Obama was in office. I offered to drive her, and she declined. "You don't have to," she said with that bright, fake smile that always showed up right before a lie. "Leah's picking me up." Right. She kissed my cheek, waved from the porch, and off she went. Overnight bag, swinging like freedom in motion. I waited exactly 11 minutes. That's how long it took for her to get to the corner of 19th and Pine, the gas station with a view of the entire intersection. I'd parked there early. Car off. Seat reclined. Cup of burnt gas station coffee in hand like it was a stakeout. Because it was. And sure enough, a red Honda pulled up. Not Leah's minivan. This was newer. Sleeker. With tinted windows and the kind of hubcaps that say, "I'm either in sales or I lie for a living." The window rolled down just enough for a hand to wave her in. She hesitated for a second, looked around, didn't see me, then climbed in. That was the second signal. The third came 42 minutes later in the form of a reservation confirmation. See, here's the thing. I'm not a hacker, but I do know how to sync our Google accounts because we used to share calendars back when we actually communicated like humans. And what do you know? Someone forgot to disable autosync. A notification popped up on my laptop like divine comedy. Reservation confirmed. King Suite, 3 p.m., Lakeshore Inn. Well now, while she was sipping hotel champagne with whoever the hell it was, I was at home folding her laundry. Not out of love, out of principle. I wanted to see what she'd come back to. The next day, she walked in at noon. Hair curled, skin glowing. That slightly too happy look of a woman who thinks she got away with something. "You get some rest?" I asked from the couch. "Yeah," she said, stretching like she just climbed Kilimanjaro. "Leah and I just stayed in, did some facials, wine, you know. Girl stuff." I smiled. "You deserve it." She smiled back. just a little too wide. Then her phone buzzed again. I watched her eyes flick to it, then away. Like a kid hiding a cheat sheet under a desk. I didn't ask questions. She didn't offer lies. And the silence between us felt like a chess clock ticking down to checkmate. She thought she was in control. That was her real mistake. Because while she was slipping into secrets, I was slipping into position. I wasn't supposed to meet him. At least not that day. Not at that cafe. Not while I was ordering an espresso I didn't even want. Because let's face it, I'm more of a black coffee and resentment guy these days. But fate? She's got a sense of humor. He was there before I walked in. Slick hair. Button-down shirt one size too small. Smiling like he was born in a mirror. He looked like the kind of guy who Googles alpha male quotes before bed and calls himself a lion in the group chat. And Miranda? She walked in exactly 2 minutes later. She didn't see me. Or maybe she did and just didn't process it fast enough, because she went straight to him. Kissed him like she was in a damn movie. My name's Ethan, by the way. I realize I haven't said that yet. Kind of poetic, huh? A name that means steadfast while I was standing there watching my wife dissolve every vow like it was written in dry erase marker. I didn't flinch. Didn't storm out. I just ordered my espresso and took the corner table, close enough to hear, but far enough to pretend I wasn't listening. You'd be amazed how careless people get when they think no one's watching. God, you look amazing, he said. How's the situation at home? She laughed. Pathetic as always. He folded my pajamas yesterday like it was 1953. I took a sip of the espresso. It tasted like battery acid. Or maybe that was just the moment burning on my tongue. They talked about going away next weekend. He joked about teaching her how to live a little. She told him she hadn't felt this alive in years. I wanted to stand. I wanted to flip the table. But instead, I pulled out my phone and took a picture. Click. Them. In perfect betrayal formation. Her hand on his knee. His sunglasses still on indoors like a cartoon villain. Evidence. Quiet. Neat. Damning. When they left, I watched them go. Then I walked out the other exit, back to my car. I sat behind the wheel for a while, phone still in my hand, screen still glowing with the photo. I wasn't angry. Not anymore. I was focused. Because in that moment, something shifted. The part of me that wanted to fix things, that part died. Quietly. With dignity. The part that was left? That part had a plan. I didn't confront her. Not yet. That's the mistake most guys make. Going full scorched earth before the fuel's even soaked in. Nope. I wanted this to burn slow. Controlled. Like a candle lighting a room one shadow at a time. So I did what any good husband would do. I pretended to care again. Thinking of redoing the guest room. I told her over dinner. Could use a project. She smiled like I'd just told her I was building us a treehouse. That's sweet, she said. Just don't make it too man cave-y. Ah yes. The woman sleeping with another man now offering interior design critiques. How generous. Truth is, I didn't care about the guest room. I just needed an excuse to install a second home security system. One that didn't sync to the app on her phone. One that gave me motion alerts, timestamps, and just enough video clarity to ruin someone's life. You'd be surprised how quickly a tech-savvy coworker can recommend a setup when you drop the phrase, home safety for my wife, while I'm traveling. The guy even threw in a motion-activated camera disguised as a digital picture frame. Said it was discreet. Discreet was perfect. 3 days later, I mounted it above the hallway bookshelf. Perfect line of sight to the front door. 2 more in the living room and kitchen. I didn't even need audio. I just needed time and patience. And I had both. Thursday, 1:12 p.m. Motion detected. I was at work, pretending to care about Q3 projections, when the alert pinged on my watch. I slipped my phone out during a meeting like I was checking a calendar. There he was. Same sunglasses. Same smirk. Same complete disregard for boundaries. He walked into my house like it belonged to him. Miranda kissed him with the urgency of a teenager sneaking around curfew. They didn't notice the photo frame watching them. She poured wine. He took off his jacket. I locked my phone. That night, I printed the images. Not for confrontation. Not yet. For leverage. The next week, I got creative. Going to be in Chicago for a conference, I told her. Oh, that's soon, she said. Last minute. Just 2 nights. She kissed my cheek. I'll miss you. She would not. I packed a duffel bag. Drove to a hotel 20 minutes away. Booked 2 nights. Paid cash. Left the lights off. And waited. Night 1. 9:06 p.m. motion alert. Guess who? Same man. Different shirt. This time he brought takeout. Thai food, if you can believe it. She once told me she hated Thai food because it smells like wet socks. Must have changed her palate along with her morals. They ate. Laughed. He put his feet on my coffee table. My coffee table. I watched the camera footage like a patient man watches rain fill a reservoir. Every drop was bringing me closer to the flood. Now, here's where it gets interesting. I didn't go back home immediately after Chicago. I extended the trip. Really, I just moved into phase 2. See, Miranda had a birthday coming up. A big one. 35, the age where Botox starts sounding less like a punchline and more like a brochure. She wanted a party. Small gathering, she said. Just family and close friends. Oh, I told her. I was thinking something bigger. Why not go all out? She lit up like Christmas morning. Really? Yeah. You only turned 35 once. What I didn't tell her is that the guest list would include some people she hadn't seen in a while. Like her parents, her boss, her co-workers from the office, the one she claimed to hate but always seemed nervous around. And of course him. Oh, I didn't invite him directly. That would have been rude. I sent the invite to her email. The one she accidentally left logged in on my old laptop a few weeks ago. The one I copied and forwarded all her messages from, including the one that said, "Let's tell him after my birthday. Once the dust settles." Yeah, dust's gonna settle, all right. The night of the party arrived. I rented a rooftop bar. Nice view. Open bar. Hired a photographer, a DJ, even a balloon arch that read Miranda 35. She wore a red dress. The kind of dress you pick when you're planning to be remembered. You really went all out, she whispered, kissing me on the cheek. You deserve it, I said. Then I handed her a card. She opened it, smiling, until she saw the photo inside. Not of us. Not of a birthday cake. A screenshot. Her. Him. The living room. His hand on her thigh. She looked up at me, panic flickering behind her lashes. What is this? I leaned in, all calm and syrup smooth. Oh, just a little preview. Go mingle. We'll do presents soon. She swallowed hard, nodding. She looked like she was trying to remember how to breathe. Then I took the mic. Ladies and gentlemen, I said, thank you for being here tonight. We're here to celebrate Miranda, her beauty, her warmth, and her loyalty. Nervous laughter. She froze. This woman has given me years of unforgettable memories. So tonight, I wanted to give her something in return. A slideshow of the greatest hits. The lights dimmed. The screen lit up. And the photos began. Her. Him. My house. My wine glasses. Her lies, frame by frame. Gasps. Whispers. One woman dropped her glass. Miranda turned white. I let it play for 30 seconds. Then I shut it off. Just kidding, I smiled. That's not what birthdays are for, right? I raised my glass. To honesty, I said. May we all find it before the candles run out. Silence is a funny thing. Most people think it's absence. Avoid. But no, real silence is pressure. It's the moment after the punchline when no one laughs. It's the space between a question and an answer that never comes. The silence after that slideshow? Thick enough to cut with a plastic knife. Miranda just stood there, frozen, hands clenched at her sides like she was still deciding whether to faint or throw a drink in my face. The guests, half of whom had been mid-sip of rose, suddenly found their shoes extremely interesting. Then her mother broke the spell. Miranda Lynn Davenport, she hissed, voice low and vicious. What was that? Miranda turned to her like a child caught stealing from the cookie jar. It's not what it looks like. Really, I said, smiling without joy. Then I should have added the audio. She turned back to me, lips trembling. Ethan, we can talk about this. Not here. Why not? I shrugged. You brought him into my house. Into my life. Seems only fair I return the favor. A few people had already slipped out. Others were whispering like it was opening night at a murder trial. And him? He wasn't there. I figured he'd ghost. Cowards don't RSVP. That was fine by me. I'd already handled him a different way, one he hadn't seen coming. It happened 3 days before the party. I paid a visit to his office. Nothing loud. Nothing dramatic. Just walked in wearing a suit and a smile. He worked in real estate. One of those boutique firms with floor-to-ceiling glass and motivational quotes in silver frames. Success is a mindset. Sure, buddy. Can I help you? The receptionist asked. Yes, I said, handing her an envelope. I'm here to drop this off for Brandon Shaw. It's personal. No return address. She raised a brow. I'll make sure he gets it. Oh, I knew she would. Inside the envelope was a single sheet of paper. No threats, no confessions, just a screen capture of a message from Miranda. Don't say anything yet. He's not stupid, but he trusts me. And beneath that, a copy of an email I'd written. To Brandon's fiancée. Yes, turns out Brandon had his own secrets. And I'd found her on LinkedIn. Small world. I figured letting his double life collide with itself was punishment enough. No yelling, no fists, just a slow-motion implosion he'd never outrun. Back at the party, Miranda was unraveling. "Why would you do this?" she whispered, eyes glistening, mascara hanging on by a thread. "Because you thought I wouldn't." Her face crumpled. "I made a mistake. You made a decision," I corrected. Repeatedly. "Don't dress it in guilt now that the curtain's down." She tried again. "We were distant. I didn't know how to talk to you. I didn't want to hurt you." I let out a dry laugh. "You didn't want to hurt me, so you cheated in my house, with a man who orders wine coolers and says my guy unironically?" More silence. Then her father, quiet all night, spoke up from the corner. "Ethan," he said, tone cautious. "Maybe this isn't the time." Respectfully, I interrupted. "I think the time was when your daughter made our marriage into a timeshare." He nodded, sat back down. That was the end of the party. Guests left in a slow, awkward trickle. Some gave me pitying nods. Others couldn't even look me in the eye. Miranda disappeared into the restroom, probably to cry, maybe to scream into her phone. I didn't care, because I wasn't angry anymore. Not really. I was clear. That night, she came home. I was already there, seated on the couch. Calm, calculated, like I'd been expecting an apology wrapped in delusion. She stood in the doorway holding her heels in one hand and her dignity in the other. "You ruined me," she said. I looked up. "No, you ruined you. I just pulled the fire alarm." She dropped her purse, sank into the armchair across from me. "I didn't think you had it in you," she muttered. I shrugged. "Most people don't. Until they do." She wiped her eyes. "What now?" "Now," I said, leaning forward. "Now we talk about logistics." "Logistics?" "Yep. Divorce. Division of property. Selling the house. Standard stuff." She stared at me like I'd just slapped her with a spreadsheet. "I thought maybe we could work through it," she whispered. I tilted my head. That wasn't an option before the hotel, or the messages, or the sock under the couch. Why would it be now? Her voice cracked. "Because I still love you." I smiled. Gently. Like you do when someone says something naive and sweet, but wildly untrue. "No, Miranda," I said. "You love the version of me who didn't pay attention. And now that he's gone, you're just trying to get back the silence." She opened her mouth. Closed it. "I'll have papers drawn up by next week," I said, standing. She didn't follow me upstairs. She didn't call out. She just sat there. The queen without her kingdom. The liar without her audience. Later that night, I watched the last camera recording. Not because I needed more proof. Just to remind myself of the distance. It was Miranda in the kitchen, laughing, pouring wine, fixing her hair, waiting for him. He never showed. I shut the video off. And for the first time in months, I slept. Not angry, not hurt, just finally free. She waited 4 days. 4 days of silence, unanswered texts, and divorce paperwork left neatly on the kitchen counter. Then came the call. Not from her, of course not. That would be too direct, too vulnerable. No, it came from her friend Claire. The same Claire who once referred to me as Mr. Spreadsheet, back when sarcasm was still her love language and not her default setting. "Ethan," she said, voice extra sugary, "Miranda's not doing well." I bet. She's not eating. She's not sleeping. She keeps saying she messed up. Like, really messed up, and she doesn't know how to fix it. I let the silence hang. Claire waited. Then she sighed. "She wants to meet." There it was. The hook. I smiled. Not because I was happy, but because I knew exactly what this was. A Hail Mary pass disguised as humility. She was going to try one last play, and honestly, I was curious what it would look like. "Tell her to pick the place," I said. "Neutral ground." Claire exhaled like I'd just solved a hostage crisis. "Thank you, Ethan." "Really?" "Sure," I said, hanging up. "Let's see how deep the rabbit hole goes." She picked La Selva. Fancy. Intimate. The kind of place where tablecloths cost more than rent and waiters whisper like librarians. I arrived early. Not because I was eager, but because I wanted to choose the table. The one in the corner, under dim lighting, where I could watch her approach and measure the mask before she put it on. She arrived at 7:04 p.m. Red dress again. Lipstick just a touch too bold. She was aiming for familiar, nostalgic, but there was a tremor in her step that gave her away. She sat down slowly, like she wasn't sure if the chair would forgive her either. "Hi," she said, voice soft. I nodded. "Wine?" She shook her head. "Not tonight." Interesting. This was her sincere setting. "I'm glad you came," she added. "I came for closure," I said. "Not a reunion." She flinched, then folded her hands like a prayer. "I don't want to beg," she began, "but I need to say this. I've been thinking about everything. The house, the choices, the way I handled us. And I realized something. Here it comes. I never stopped loving you. I just got lost." "Lost?" I echoed. "Yes," she said, eyes glassy. "I know that doesn't excuse what I did. Nothing will. But I didn't cheat because I stopped caring about you. I cheated because I stopped recognizing myself." That line was rehearsed. I could hear it in the rhythm. Probably ran it past Claire twice. "And you think I'm supposed to what?" I asked. "Applaud the epiphany?" "No," she whispered. I wanted you to see that I'm trying to be honest now, even if it's too late." I stared at her for a beat. Then I said, "You didn't come here for honesty. You came here for grace." She blinked. "What? You don't want the truth. You want mercy. You want me to say you're still the girl I married, that this was just a misstep, a phase, something we can patch." Tears welled up. "On command, right on cue." "I want to fix things," she said, voice trembling. "I know I don't deserve to, but I'm willing to try. To prove it." I leaned back. "And how exactly do you plan to do that?" She reached into her purse and slid a small envelope across the table. I didn't touch it. "What's that?" I asked. "Proof," she said, "that I ended it with Brandon. For good." I raised a brow. "You think I care if you dumped your side project?" Her face fell. "I thought you wanted closure." "I do," I said. "But watching you scramble for redemption doesn't close anything. It just reopens the part of me that once believed you could be better than this." The envelope sat between us like a paper truce. I still didn't touch it. Then she said something unexpected. "There's no alimony in the divorce agreement." I blinked. "Excuse me." "I read it," she said quietly. "I know you could have asked for more. Half my savings. Spousal support. You didn't. Didn't need to." "Why not?" "Because," I said, sipping my water, "I already got what I wanted." Confusion flickered across her face. "You got to hurt me in secret," I continued. "Now, I got to expose you in public. We're even." She went pale. "That's cruel." "No," I said. "That's balance." She sat there, stunned. For once, no clever retort. Just air escaping her lungs in quiet disbelief. I stood up. "Thanks for dinner," I said. "You can leave the envelope. Or burn it. I don't care anymore." As I walked past her, she reached out, fingers brushing my sleeve. "Ethan," she said, voice cracking, "what happens now?" I looked at her, really looked at her. Not as the woman I married. Not even as the woman who betrayed me. Just as a person standing in the rubble she built herself. "What happens now?" I said. "You live with it." "I don't." That night, she texted me. "I wish things had been different." I didn't reply. What I did instead? Well, that's the beginning of something else. Because Miranda thought the damage was finished. But she forgot one thing. I still had one card left. The envelope arrived on a Tuesday. Handwritten. No return address. Thick, expensive paper. The kind that feels like it's hiding something before you even open it. It wasn't from Miranda. It was about her. Inside was a single sheet of stationery. No greeting. No sign-off. Just 5 words in blocky, uneven handwriting. "You should talk to Lily." That was it. But it was enough. Because I knew one Lily. And so did Miranda. She used to work with her, briefly, at a small consulting firm 2 years ago. Lily didn't stay long. Quit after 3 months. Toxic environment. She told me at a barbecue once, when Miranda wasn't within earshot. I hadn't thought about her since. But apparently, she'd been thinking about us. I reached out. Casual message. No pressure. She responded instantly. "Can we talk in person?" I agreed. We met at a downtown cafe. No wine this time. Just cold brew and nerves. Lily was quieter than I remembered. She kept her sunglasses on the table, but never reached for them. Her hands shook just a little when she finally spoke. "I should have told you sooner," she said. "But I didn't think it was my place." "About Miranda?" I asked. She nodded. "I didn't quit because of the environment," she continued. "I quit because I saw something." "Saw what?" She hesitated, then leaned in. She was already cheating on you back then. My stomach didn't drop. It didn't twist. Because I wasn't surprised. I was just angry at myself for assuming Brandon had been the start. She used me as a cover, Lily whispered. Told you we were going to yoga classes together. But really, she was meeting some guy named Greg. Greg. Different guy. Different lie. Same story. Lily looked at me with apology written in her eyes. I thought you deserved to know. I did, I said. And now I do. Back home, I opened a folder labeled Miranda, Archive. Yeah, I had one. Don't act shocked. Inside, photos, screenshots, dates, a timeline of betrayal that stretched back years. I laid it out like a detective on a murder show. But this wasn't just about what she did. It was about what I let slide. See, the truth isn't just what people hide from you. It's what you hide from yourself, too. And I'd spent too long pretending my gut didn't know what my heart was too tired to confront. That folder wasn't evidence anymore. It was release. So I did something I hadn't done since college. I went off the grid. Deleted social media. Closed accounts. Canceled credit cards. Rented a place 2 cities away. Small, minimal, quiet. I left the house for her. She could live in the museum she ruined. I took the life. Miranda tried calling. Over and over. First came the apologies. Then the threats. Then the bargaining. Then the silence. Classic pattern. Grief in reverse. She didn't know where I was. She didn't even know I was gone. Until the neighbors told her they saw a moving van. She texted me that night. You disappeared. Like a coward. I smiled. Blocked the number. Cowards beg for closure. I created mine. 3 months passed. Seasons turned. Her birthday came and went. I sent a card with nothing in it but a fortune cookie slip that read, "You reap what you ignore." She didn't reply. I wasn't expecting her to. But then, out of nowhere, came the voicemail. 39 seconds of trembled breath and wreckage. Ethan, I know you hate me. I know I deserve it. But I miss you. Not the marriage. You. The way you used to see me. I don't even recognize myself anymore. I don't know how to fix anything. I'm sorry. I really am. There was no return number. No way to reply. And that was perfect. She wasn't reaching out to reconnect. She was calling into the void, hoping it would echo. It didn't point. 6 months later, she got married again. Yep, Brandon. Guess she took me literally when I said I was done. But here's the twist. I sent them a wedding gift. No note. No name. Just a package wrapped in black ribbon. Inside, a hard drive, labeled Timeline. It contained everything. Photos, logs, videos, emails. Not just her affair with Brandon, but with Greg, and Michael, and Theo. Each labeled, documented, dated, tagged by address and occasion. A curated masterpiece of betrayal. An archive of every lie she ever tried to bury. Brandon would open it. He'd see exactly what he married. And she'd see it in his eyes. That flicker of distrust. The same one she once put in mine. Revenge isn't violence. It's clarity. It's giving someone exactly what they asked for and letting them choke on it.